Namaste, namaskaram, vanakkam, namo namaha, jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org and thank you for your support. Today let's look at some inspirational movies and Hindu Dharma. Look at the classic, The Wizard of Oz. It's a dream sequence that really has a lot to do with reality and how we get through this life, moving through the many delusions of life. So Dorothy lands in the Wizard of Oz, interestingly taking up through a tornado like the Kundalini, spiraling up into the inner worlds. Hindus chant the Gayatri Mantra, harmonizing all three worlds as we move from the outer worlds into the inner worlds. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha. So she lands in the land of Oz and is surrounded by the Munchkins, who were afraid actually to leave Munchkin land. Often were afraid to venture out. But Dorothy realizes she has to go on this journey to get back home again. So she starts out on the path, the Sanmarga. We all need to find a path in life. Relevantly, the religions of the world, as we choose a path up the mountain. She chose the yellow brick road, and she followed the road from the beginning to the end. Follow the road, follow the path. Follow the yellow brick road, and she left behind, in a sense, the ridiculousness of Munchkin Land. Remember the classic song? Up at 12, off to work at 1, an hour for lunch, and then at 2 we're done. Meaning basically we don't get anything done. So she goes off on this journey with her companion Toto. And she first meets the Scarecrow. And the Scarecrow joined her on this journey to find the Wizard of Oz because he needed a brain. He needed to learn to think. We have to think to a certainty. Then she encounters the Tin Man, who has no heart. So with karma of thinking and working, now we need to develop the heart of devotion, of bhakti yoga. Then they meet the lion, who actually has no courage. And in life's journey, we all need to have courage. We all need to step up to the plate and be willing to take this perilous journey sometimes. And certainly the journey to spiritual realization. It's going to meet with a lot of obstacles on the way, a lot of wicked witches. We're going to get deceived sometimes by the mayas of life, the illusion of life, the poppy fields of life that can put us to sleep for who knows how long. But sooner or later, if we persevere, we reach this land of Oz, where the wizard lives. This is very significant in the sense the wizard here is actually an illusion, a fake. As we can sometimes get deluded by outer superficialities, hence the various negative cultic situations that many have encountered when the leaders seemed more than what they actually were. But ultimately in the end it's so beautiful because Dorothy always had the power within her, as we all do. The ruby slippers were there. All she had to do was realize the power with her and say, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. As we Hindus now realize that as we go through this life journey, which is important to do, we have to develop all of our outer natures until we finally look inward, introspect, and go truly home. Isn't it beautiful that the word Om is right in the word home? As the home has always been there. We have a beautiful little proverb in Hinduism, the bird of truth. For this is the elusive nature of life, that we have to go on the search. We have to do all of these things, lifetime after lifetime, until we eventually turn in. So this man was looking, or woman was looking for this bird of truth, and was searching all through the forest, up and down, getting cut, bruised, enjoyment, till finally sitting down, happened to glance on his or her shoulder, and there was the bird the whole time. The truth was always there, but we have to look for it first, before we can get to that point of sitting down and truly introspecting. This is actually the path from religion to the spiritual realizations, from karma to jnana, from yama to samadhi, from Ganapati to Nataraja and Shivalingam, Atmalingam, Paramatmalingam, Parabrahman, from speech and rhetoric, vach, to that which is beyond speech, Maunavakya, Parabrahman. Very inspiring movie from an inner perspective. Then we come to a classic, Hook, with the late Robin Williams. And here's where sometimes we have to take a step back and realize that there is an inner reality behind the movies of life. For poor Robin Williams, suffered from a serious mental problem that caused his ultimate demise. In this classic film, Hook, Robin Williams starts out as a high-powered lawyer, indicative of when we're totally stuck in the material world. And he visits his Granny Wendy in England, and she reminds him ultimately of who he is. Is this not what ultimately happens when one goes to the Guru? And the Guru reminds us of who we truly are. Remember the classic proverb of the young lion cub that grows up with the sheep and obviously thinks he's a sheep and goes bah, until one day the sheep herd approaches a pride of lions and they all run away, including the now grown-up lion. And the king lion grabs this lion sheep by the scruff of the neck, says, "What are you doing?" Drags him over to a pond of water, nature's mirror, where he gets the reflection of who he truly is and roars for the first time in his life. So Robin Williams, Peter, had forgotten who he truly was. So he had to go off on a journey to Never, Never Land, where he once again, through trial and error, regained his childlike innocence in his adult body. But he forgot that he had responsibilities. He forgot that he had children. He went to the other extreme now, until he finally came full circle and realized that he could still be a mature adult with the heart of a child. This is the Anahata Chakra, the youthful loving warrior that's inside of all of us, no matter what our physical age, and beautifully represented by our youthful loving warrior deities of Hinduism. They have to all go together. Youthful, loving, warrior. If we're a warrior without love, we become violent. And being a warrior is a youthful quality. Hanuman, Skanda, Krishna, Durgama, all youthful, loving warriors. And in order to find this youthful, loving warrior, it takes a lot of work. Relevantly, we have to find our religious path, step on it, and then work, 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 pray, 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 think, think, think. Which brings us to the inspirational movie of Rudy Rudiker. A true story about a young man whose desire was to go to Notre Dame and play football. And everything was against him. He didn't have the grades to go to Notre Dame. He didn't have the finances to go to Notre Dame. And though he played football in high school, his diminutive size precluded him from actually becoming a member of this, at that time, fantastic team of Notre Dame, football team. But he had the willpower, which ultimately carried him to success, even though the success was achieved only at the end of his career. He never gave up, no matter what obstacles he faced. Everybody told him he couldn't do it. He couldn't go to Notre Dame. He couldn't become a part of the football team. He could never play on the field. He had to overcome all of those obstacles, starting with his family, who never had any faith in him at all, but he never gave up. He went to community college. He raised his grades. He kept applying to Notre Dame. He worked in order to make enough money to support himself. And he finally got into Notre Dame. And then through his efforts, he finally got on the scrub team of the football team. And he thought he would never, ever get on the field and actually play and be part of the team until the very last game of his senior year, when in the last few moments they put him on the field and he actually helped win the game at the end, and they carried him off on his shoulders, the only player to ever be carried off the field at Notre Dame. And then his brothers subsequently also graduated from college. Classic example of somebody who had every obstacle thrown in his way and yet managed through his willpower to fulfill his heart's desire. And then finally we come to the Karate Kid 1 movie. Very inspiring, very profound lessons there, as Mr. Miyagi is teaching his disciple Daniel-san. And the first lesson he's teaching him in his karate training is to, in a sense, not be in the middle. He gave a classic example of when you walk down the road, you walk either on the right side or the left side, but not in the middle or you'll get squashed like a grape. In other words, first, you have to choose. In his immortal words, he said to Daniel-san, either karate do or karate don't. But don't do karate just so or you get squashed like a grape. How relevant is this for life? And we did a podcast on Don't Be a Half Hindu, in which we explained don't be an Inno in anything in life, an in-name only person. If we're going to do it, and do it 110%. This was Mr. Miyagi's lesson to his disciple. You either do this karate or you don't do it. But don't do it just so or you will get squashed. So if we are a member of any of the religions of the world, if we're a Hindu and we don't do anything about it, this is actually one of the deadly social sins, religion without sacrifice or sacred doing. Are you a Hindu? Are you a Hindu in name only? Or are you a Hindu? Are you standing up for the Dharma? Are you working for the Dharma, studying the Dharma, practicing the Dharma? So this was his very first lesson. You must choose first. Then once you choose, now you learn to be in the middle. In other words, the next lesson was balance. Learn to live a balanced life. In Mr. Miyagi's words, balance not just for karate training, but for whole life. Whole life is balance. Go find the balance. Banzai. Live a balanced life. And in order to live a balanced life, it means that we will get thrown off balance. That's the purpose of a coach, a guru, is to throw the student, the disciple, off balance to see if they can struggle and get back on balance. This is the wisdom of life, learning to find balance in life. We need to live a balanced life, physical, mental, emotional, and soulful. Certainly as Hindus, we recognize our body, mind, emotions, and soul, learning to take care of all of our bodies. In this learning process, we will go to extremes. This is part of the nature of life, of living life. Eventually, though, we gain a balance. Always keep the image of a teeter-totter in mind. To balance that teeter-totter, in other words, neither end is touching the ground, we have to stand in the middle with one foot to each side, meaning we've known each side, we've known the extremes. This is living life until we finally achieve a balanced life. This is the meaning of the yin-yang symbol. This is the meaning of Shiva Shakti, Vishnu Devi. Learn to live a balanced life. Intrinsically, understanding our masculine and feminine natures, the two hemispheres of our brain. Learning to be positively masculine, positively feminine, respectively analytical, logical, rational, thinking, religious area. Soft, intuitive, gentle, spiritual nature. Living a balanced life of ethics, devotion, contemplation to enlightenment, or as Hindus say, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga. Living a balanced life from student to family and career to retired to renunciate. This is the life journey. And as Hindus, we understand it takes many lifetimes to achieve this balance. Samsara or reincarnation is a fact of life. As we go from one body to another. As in this life, our bodies are changing, our physical, mental, emotional bodies are changing. Learning to find this balance, that we are the Atmana, we are the soul of love, light, and energy with a body, mind, and emotions. It takes practice, it takes honesty to look at ourselves. As we see our defects again and again and again, enjoy the practice, enjoy the game. Dosa drista mahor mahuha. See our defects again and again and again. Enjoy the games of life. Learn to play fair. Be a good sport. Be a courageous warrior. And get inspiration from many areas of life. We're all in this together. Wish each other auspiciousness and wish each other peace. Wish each other fullness and tranquility. Om Sarvesham Svastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Find inspiration by doing just that. Go in. And then go out effectively in the world. Purusha and Prakriti. Om Jyoti Shakti Ananda Shanti.